I was hoping it was going to drop a little bit more,
Set down
a little bit better correction and get it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Dave, I don't think the correction's done.
So that was, what we have about a 6% correction overall since the first year, or since the holiday. Yeah, okay. So we'll probably take another
Cell
dip.
walls,
Take another dip.
buy puts.
It was for sale for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just did the ratio.
But if you have,
Right.
you want to sell the walls.
Sure.
Because if it doesn't go down far enough, they pay you.
Doing all right?
I don't get it. What's it called? I'm all right. I'm all right. You gotta know what you're doing to do that.
Yes, you really have to. Yeah, you really have to.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I do then? It's on, that's all right.
Everyone, welcome to the 6 o'clock, it is 6 o'clock, meeting of the Gastonia City Council meeting, February the 4th, 2014. I would, I'd like to welcome everyone in this beautiful weather coming out. The item A is the prayer, Councilman Kimball, after which we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Okay.
Thank you, dear Father, dear Lord, for getting us together this day, for allowing us to arrive safely, for guiding our hand and our minds as we work to better the citizens and the city of Gastonia. And we also take note, Lord, today is World Cancer Day. And we ask your blessing on those near and far that have been touched in many tragic ways by this disease. We ask your strength on them, that they continue to fight. And we also ask your blessing on those that are caregivers and loved ones, that they continue to fight this valiant journey. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item C is the adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Here, sir.
Okay, second? Any
Second.
discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand, please. Thank you. Mr. Kimball, I'm going to call on you at this time to continue with what you were saying. during
Thank
the
you.
prayer there.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, members of council and the audience. Today is World Cancer Day. I think that we all know someone, be it a friend, be it a loved one, that has either dealt with the disease, has succumbed to the disease, or that we're supporting in their continued fight. I took the moment today to provide you with two different downloads on what World Cancer Day means. And the second one that somewhat struck me was from the island of Jamaica, that they too recognized World Cancer Day and did a section on debunking the many cancer myths. I know that we have, Dr. Gatter, I believe, is in the audience, that I know that you've seen firsthand the scourge of this disease and what it does to many of the folks within our community, and how you've helped them to wage their valiant fight in many ways. Thank you, sir. Lastly, we have I made a photocopy. Cancer Services of Gaston County, please save the date for April 4th. They're having their Faces of Hope party at the Daniel Stowe Botanical Garden. Hope that you can all attend. It's a great evening, and it's truly for a great cause. Some of the things that they do is they provide rides for those sometimes that would otherwise be unable to get to their doctor's appointments, get medication, get a second opinion, and also to bring someone that could help them into their home to make their burden a little bit less. So I wanted to make everyone aware of that. And also want to thank those that wore purple today. That is the color of World Cancer Day. And I want to thank each and every one of you for all your support against this terrible disease. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your kind words, too. Okay, item D is presentation, Mr. Melvin Burris, President of Upper Highland Foundation, reference request for in-kind services, Cornelius Crank Basketball Tournament at Irvin Center, which is April 21st through the 25th. You gave me warning you were coming back. Here you are. Melvin, go right ahead, sir.
Hey, good evening,
Good
everybody.
evening.
City Council, Mayor. Yeah, I am Melvin Burris, the president of the organization. This will be our 21st year of the Cornelius Crank Classic. We just come before you, ask for in-kind service. What we're gonna do is Monday through Wednesday is have open league basketball, and possibly we're trying to involve the children involved during the week. And then on Thursday, we have a church night out where all the churches come together and we play, have a little fun. So if your church want to play a little basketball, we invite y'all to on Thursday night. Be there at 6 o'clock. And then on Friday, the ones that make it Monday through Wednesday through Thursday, they will play for the championship. And we just wish for y'all blessings of this in-kind service. And what we're asking for is police, fire, and Irvin Center staff.
Okay, I believe D1 is the exhibit. I think we had, any questions of Melvin? And you see he's got his board members listed there also. Any
I'd like to
questions?
make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second here.
Discussion? Everything's right here for us. All in favor, raise, please. Thank you, sir.
And thank y'all. Y'all have a
Mr.
good
Reed.
night.
You do too. Thank you. We'll move over public expression, item E. No one signed up there. Consent agenda. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Bridgman, I'd like to pull item number 1
Okay.
off of the consent agenda.
All right.
And with the understanding that at a different point in time, we will add that back in there. We've got some additional information that we were trying to get, and so I'd like to pull that from the consent agenda.
Okay.
I will second.
Discussion. All in favor? Thank you. Item 1 just is pulled. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? Okay, regular agenda. Item 7, award of contract for Dunham Road culvert replacement, Lynn Haven Drive culvert and storm drain improvements, and Lynn Haven Drive resurfacing. John E. Jenkins Incorporated, $635,131.67. Presentation by Mr. Rusty Bost, City Engineer, and that is Exhibit 7.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. The item before you tonight is the projects that the mayor just described. We're going to be replacing a 72-inch failed culvert underneath Dunham Drive. I got some pictures here that I can show you real quickly that give you an idea of kind of the situation we're running into with Dunham Drive. These are in your Elmo, but this top picture is the upstream head wall of Dunham Drive. The important thing to notice here, and the most recent episode that we had with the wall failure and the erosion going on behind the AAA Auto Care zone place, is we see the same thing happening right here. There is erosion underneath that head wall, and that's kind of washing out that head wall. So we've got to get in there and fix it. If you can see, it's a concrete pipe. The joints are separating and the head wall's falling apart. This one also has a bit of a quirky scenario to it. One of the sideline pipes that drains the road is discharging into this system, but it's pointed upstream. So if you can imagine an on-ramp onto an interstate pointed upstream, the chaos and confusion is happening hydraulically inside that pipe, and it's becoming a maintenance issue also. So we'd like to get in there and straighten that out as well. So there'll be some additional work on the sideline pipes in the road as we replace that culvert. The downstream side to it, you can see from that picture, there's cracks in the wall, giant cracks in the head wall that could punch out. It's kind of precarious, as well as a storm drain pipe that's discharging over the top of the culvert. Again, that's not your ideal situation. You try not to have your hydraulics conflict each other like that. So we're gonna try and fix that as well. The next project that we have is the Lynn Haven culvert. And I can show you a pretty good picture of that one also. And you can see that's just, it's a little clearer hopefully in your agenda package than what is showing up there. But
It is.
that's supposed to be round, and it's an egg. So obviously there are things happening underneath that culvert that we've got to get in there and sort out. Additionally, upstream from Lynn Haven, from the culvert itself, and this is underneath the curb line of Lynn Haven, we have a sinkhole that opened up underneath part of the existing storm drain system.
Wow.
This down here is the actual pipe itself, and there is a joint right there where the two pieces of pipe marry up, and it opened up. They're supposed to be sealed up tight. In this instance, that one opened up, and in our investigation of the system, we found that rampant through that whole system. So we'll be replacing that entire system as it runs up Lynn Haven Road to the next street crossing there. Additionally, as part of this, we're gonna be doing some resurfacing on Lynn Haven. This was a part where we intended with the Geo Bond project to resurface all the way up to Dunham. When we found this going on with the Lynn Haven culverts, we obviously said we're not gonna pave over a street just so we can come in here and tear it out when we do the stormwater project. Also, additionally, and I'll put this on the map out of the agenda item for the culvert project, we have this residence here and this residence here on Lynn Haven are also applicants in our off right-of-way assistance program. They're experiencing erosion from those creek banks that's eating into their property. And so, of course, with this project, we'll want to get, and we've gotten permission to enter from the property owners, and they've reviewed what we plan on doing, and they're agreeable to the solution. So we're going to get onto their property and slope those banks back and stabilize them. So that, in a nutshell, is the work that we're doing.
Okay, okay, Mr. Kimball?
Thank you, sir. Rusty, obviously, we want to repair this, but are we also taking into account a way to mitigate the effects of the hydraulic influence on these areas as we do this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Everything that we do, we design to try and minimize that hydraulic chaos and all that erosion that goes on. We lay the slopes back. We use materials that can withstand that. We point discharge pipes downstream so that we're not creating that problem again. We absolutely try and go after those things. Yes, sir.
So in effect, we would deem this, along with the mitigation efforts, to be a long-term fix in this area that would not rear its head
Yes, sir.
10 or 15 years. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Craig?
Rusty, the time frame on doing the Lynn Haven culvert, and when are we looking about doing that? Because that is a major school in traffic pattern.
The time frame is, we've given each of these projects, we're allowing them different amounts of time independently of the other. Dunham Road Culvert Project has a specified amount of time. I can't remember off the top of my head, but the road closure itself is going to be, I put in the agenda item, I think about 4 or 5 weeks. Is that right?
7 weeks
7
is
weeks.
Dunham and 9 weeks is Linwood.
So, but the project itself will be longer than that. There's ancillary work off the right-of-way that they can be doing when they don't have to have the road closed. The way we'd like to go with this, and the way we've expressed this to the contractor, is that they go to Dunham first, and we do Dunham. Dunham is going to be an impact to the travelers no matter what time of year you use it. It's a cut through, and it gets a lot of weird peaks, and we're going to address that. But then as Dunham finishes up, we anticipate that coinciding with the end of the school year, and then we start on Lynn Haven. If it finishes early and we can find work that the contractor can do that doesn't close the road, we'll probably let them go ahead and do that work. But I think our goal going into this is that we don't want that road closed while school's open. We've been in communication with the school board the entire time. They're getting those Tuesday email updates as the project progresses. They said that they can tolerate living with the road closed, but that's the school board and those are the buses, and that's not necessarily the parents. So there's two different audiences there. But we really want to aim for letting them close the road at the end of the school year.
The other question is, if road does have to be closed, how are they gonna be detoured around that?
Well, the road will be closed.
Okay,
And
all right.
we will work with them on the detour. We will make sure that we get that done. Off the top of my head, I haven't looked at it
Oh,
yet.
okay.
But we, you know, Hudson may be the next closest crossing of that creek. And that may be just how we
And
have to do
the
it.
last thing I'd like to say, I know that John Jenkins in our agenda is the one that is scheduled to do this work, and I just want to compliment the staff on getting a local business to do that, and John Jenkins will do a great job for us.
Yes, sir. We have
Thank
a
you.
great relationship with them. We
Thank
expect
you.
this to work well.
Okay, Dr. Curlin, then Mr. Gallagher.
Rusty, you know, the cut through with Dunham, there's gonna be people with, you know, a surprised look on their face, so.
We hope not. Our plan right now is the week before we close the road, we put the message board out there and let them know that on such and such a date, that road will be closed. So most of the traffic on Dunham is a cut through right now.
Right.
The counts that we did all showed these gigantic peaks that don't necessarily correspond with that neighborhood. And it's clearly cut through traffic. So hopefully, if we can put that message board out, we can get that message to them. And then also, when it comes time, you know, we'll definitely do the blast out to the school board, the newspapers, the transit people, E911. You know, we touch everybody on that.
Probably you'll close Dunham right at the old Powell residence, and if they're coming down that way, they'll probably get on the club.
I think what we'll do is put road closed to local traffic only up at
Armstrong?
Armstrong Park.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
at,
Yeah. And done.
Glenwood, or whatever.
Yeah,
the southern
Glenwood
road is.
probably.
And that way, they're not caught in a neighborhood.
Right, right. I'm planning on opening a lemonade stand in front of my
We'll
house
be glad to sell
for
you.
those that detour.
We will be glad to sell you a privilege license.
Thank you.
Doctor, will it be 5 cents like on peanuts?
I think that the council feels that it would be very appropriate on that message board, just put Dr. Curlin's name and phone
That's
number
right.
We can put his
on
phone
there.
That's
Call
right.
if they
email
need
address,
Any
Yeah.
questions, just call him.
street address.
Right, yeah, absolutely, right. Mr. Gallagher.
It is. It is.
Rusty, two things. One, I'm one of the ones that use that cut through. And the majority of the drivers that you're gonna find are trying to get away from making a left-hand turn onto onto Armstrong Road. Okay? Can something be done with that traffic light to allow people to start turning there? Since we have 1,000 people during rush hour going that way, I think it would just be prudent and proactive on our part to allow that to occur.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's a very good idea. We'll get up with the traffic cops and see if there's something we can do there.
We could build a flyover.
You still need Dr. Curlin's number on that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that was unanimous.
The other thing I have is Lynn Haven Drive.
Yes, sir.
I used to go on this road all the time going towards the swim club down here, Wesley Acres. And we're gonna put a bike path in here on both sides,
Bike lanes.
bike lane.
Bike lanes. There is existing out there an airstrip of pavement. And there's enough room to stripe off 4 feet on either side of the existing pavement and put the little bike lane symbol inside the existing pavement. So no new asphalt, no tearing up, no construction. This is just restriping. And the goal there obviously is that school is a generator of pedestrian and bicycle traffic. And we simply want to delineate a safe place for kids to ride their bikes.
Okay, so there is bike traffic there.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
start with the high
I
school.
just-
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Talking about, going back of what Dr. Curlin was saying, notifying the people with the message board and everything. Does our telephone system, are we able to do a broadcast telephone information that could be done, you know, a week to 2 weeks ahead of time?
Yes. Yes, we have the Blackboard system, I think it is, that can do that.
And we can do it selectively, and
Yeah.
we can do it across the whole city or in pieces.
There's a challenge there. You don't want a Blackboard message to the whole city, because not the whole
Right,
city uses that.
right.
But it is a cut-through, so it's also not people that live right there. It's another sector of the population that's gonna be hard to target, but we can definitely do something like that to the local population, and make sure everybody in the neighborhoods know what's going on.
Right. I've gotten those calls in the past, and that they are helpful. Sometimes our citizens get irritated, but at the same time, it really keeps people informed and communicates with them. And I think that is something that is important, is to keep the citizens in the communication loop. So if we could do that, that'd be great.
Yes, sir.
Russ, this is a little bit off subject, but it's along the lines with the phone call chain type of thing that we have available. This past week, we had snow and 1 inch, and we shut down the bus system. Is it possible for us to get phone numbers of people that ride the bus on a regular basis? So when we do have, a storm of that shuts down our buses, that we're able to communicate with the riders themselves so that they will understand that the bus is shut down for that day.
That'd be
I'm gonna maybe
transportation.
leave that one up for Todd or Rachel. I'm not sure how.
It,
or Paul. Maybe Paul.
and I'll just jump in a little bit. It's interesting, for instance, I got on my phone that Republic was not going to have its services, and I suspect that somehow or another they got my number. So they said, okay, we're suspending the recycling, and then later said, okay, we're coming back into the recycling. So you have to be able to capture something to be able to then send them the message back out again.
Yeah, and we took your suggestion, and we're gonna be offering that up to the ridership. If they wanna give us their phone numbers to be informed of what we're doing, we'll be more than happy to put them together, and put them together in a separate block, so if there is anything that happens with transit for suspension of service or extension of service, stuff like that, we'll be able to inform them.
Paul, how are we going about collecting their phone numbers?
Just be a piece of paper that they're handed when they get on the buses, or they'll also be able to set that up at the bus terminal itself.
So they could just turn their phone numbers in at the bus terminal with the guy they could get the tickets from as well? And
Yeah, we haven't gotten that portion set up yet, but we may also be able to do it right there, because a lot of it is on online service, to where you have the capabilities of doing, you can get a call, you can get a text, or you can get an email.
Yeah, because right now, this is when most of them would want to go through with that, because they, had a suspension of service.
Right.
So
And then,
it's
like I said,
fresh in our mind.
We are gonna go ahead and take care of that. I know that we're working on the sheet of paper that tells us the information that we know how to inform them.
Excellent, thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
getting back to the agenda item here, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? I do think under discussion that the council feels that probably in doing that message board with Dr. Curlin, might want to put one out for Ms. Craig out at, on this property too. Just call her. Just give her a call. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 8 is city marketing initiatives. A presentation to Ms. Rachel Bagley, Managing Executive for Marketing and Revitalization Initiatives. Rachel?
Good evening. I will warn you that I have a kind of nagging, hacky cough. So hopefully we'll be able to kind of get through this. I'll get started.
You're supposed to have your television voice, right?
Yeah. Show me
know.
your voice.
It sometimes fails me. The information that you have in your agendas, and you had it in your packets for the council retreat, you've got a couple of things that I wanted to explain what you have, and then if you'd like to ask questions, hopefully we can get through that too. Some of you had the question, what are we doing with marketing? So what I did was compile a comprehensive list of marketing tools that we use across departments, not just those that come come out of the city manager's office and are directed at general city marketing. So what you have in the document that's named, excuse me, I think it's the comprehensive inventory of marketing tools used by departments to promote the city to various audiences. So you have that. Just in case you wanted to know that information, and look at it, kind of turn it around and look at it by audience, I also did a summary document for you. And that's the other document that you have that says City Marketing Initiatives, Current and Projected Highlights. It's pretty much a summary of the information on the comprehensive list, but it does provide it by audience. Now, excuse me, I'll go back to the comprehensive list. If you're looking for what kinds of things are we doing on a general basis, you'll look at that first page, which says General Marketing of the City, but you'll also want to focus on the marketing tools that the SHIELD is using, Keep Gastonia Beautiful, Economic Development, and Two Rivers, because they do market to larger audiences. Now, there was also the question, do we have a marketing plan? There is a document that I've sort of been working from. It's an informal plan. It's one that I've kind of used to benchmark what are we doing, what else do we need to do. That document was also included in your materials. It's titled City of Gastonia Marketing Plan Outline. Now, the other thing that you have is, when we've had this discussion before, kind of a back and forth discussion, there were members who said, well, you know, what is it that we want to market? And that would be my question, as the person who kind of coordinates the marketing for the city, is if there is something that you would like to focus on, if there is something you would like us to do more of, the document that you have that says who, what, when, where, why, and how, what I've done is compile those key questions. Who do we want to market to? What do we want to market? What's the purpose? Those are the kind of questions that we need to consider if we're going to sort of target a particular audience or target a particular topic. So with that basis, what questions do you have?
Let me interrupt, if I may. If there are questions, and we'll be back here in 2 weeks. We've had this, and we've certainly had, as you said, the opportunity to look it over from the work session. In respect to you, I don't think you should answer any more questions. I mean, I think you should go home and go to bed. But and let's put this on the agenda for in 2 weeks. Is that agreeable? Is that okay?
Table?
Table?
Fine.
Thank you.
Oh, I had some items I was gonna.
Well, now, you're welcome to go right ahead. I'm making that offer that, it's for your benefit. I mean, we'll listen to you.
I know.
All right.
And so far, I'm, you know, if you'll let me just show you some of the items.
Okay.
And then that'll kind of help, and if you then if you want to kind of mull over it. I do think you're gonna need, if you haven't had the opportunity, I do think you're gonna need some time to kind of think about the questions that are on the sheet about how, you know, what do you want to market? What audiences do you want to market to? What's really the purpose of it? That will help us not only direct what we do, but it'll also help us be cost efficient so that we don't have a number of marketing items out there that we really don't have a real purpose for. So, just kind of to remind you what we do, of course, you all know that we have the newsletter that goes in the bill inserts. That's sort of a general way that we market. And I do say we market and not just educate, because all of the articles and all of the information is kind of designed to influence behavior. And that's what marketing does. Marketing is designed to either influence your buying decisions if it's a product or a service, or to influence your behavior if it's to buy into an idea or a concept. So we have those. We also have done a number of marketing pieces that are a little more a little more broad. This is the chamber map. We have a very prominent ad on the back of that map. We also have advertised prominently on the Grizzlies program, and just some of the things that we do. I think I passed these out at the retreat. This is our latest, which is the downtown brochure, which not only has some marketing information generally, but it also has the inside map. And this is something that the downtown businesses have been asking for a while. We also do, and I think some of these come in your bills, we do some of what's considered informational data or informational brochures, but they really are marketing brochures because they're meant to influence behavior. The one we did on the cankerworms, what we're trying to do is influence our residents to begin to band. So again, they aren't just educational, they are marketing. This is our latest brochure for the NeoGov application process. Of course, we have the same ones that we do for recycling. So just an idea of some of the stuff that we do. Now, questions?
Question? You want to continue?
I'm hanging in there.
You okay?
I'm good.
Okay, Ms. Craig.
I think.
Okay.
Just a short question, okay, with a short answer. Is there a way as we begin to digest all of this, because I was going through all this and I thought, how do we get our arms around this, okay? Is there a way that it can be earmarked or categorized as short-term, meaning 6 to 9 months, and long-term strategies and goals
Yeah,
and things?
I can do that. In fact,
I don't want it right now.
I can add sort of another column, because this was to summarize that comprehensive.
Right.
So I can add another column that gives you an idea, and I was working toward that with existing and planned
Right.
and or projected. But I can add another column that indicates time span.
Well, would that be beneficial? I mean, don't do it just for me, but if everybody else thinks that might be beneficial, then we can go back and also look at short-term costs that you've included in there, which is great things. So, just a suggestion.
We'll do.
Good. Yes, sir.
Brenda, I think we're on exactly the same wavelength, but I would also maybe, Rachel, look into if we could add one more column of where the matrix would be sans duplication with the county.
Okay.
Because, certainly we want to complement, I think that there's a feeling here, we certainly want to complement, but not necessarily duplicate with the amount of finite dollars that both we and our partners have.
And I think we run that risk, especially in
I know.
trying to promote to visitors.
I know.
Because you've got tourism, Gaston tourism, that does quite, now that doesn't mean that I think they always highlight Gastonia enough, but I think we probably all think that. But yeah, I think there are times when we can duplicate, so I can do that as well.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Yes, sir.
I think nowadays, one of the most cost-effective ways that we can market it is through our website. Because that's something that can go everywhere, and cost can be controlled pretty well. So I think a real strong look at the website from a marketing standpoint, would be helpful. And that comes down to graphics, it comes down to videos, it comes down to FAQs. Anyone who's searching for something, having an easy way that when, if they want, hiking in the Charlotte region, we want it to pop up with Crowder's Mountain, for instance. So having all roads lead to Gastonia through the World Wide Web would be ideal. So that's, I think, a big piece, and I know you guys are working on the website, and you're constantly working on the website. And the other piece of that would be whether or not you can have a robust Parks and Rec part of that website, or let them have their own, you know, because that's big for play, you know. And, you know, if it's workable within the structure of the website, let it be. And if it's not and they need some space, then let them have a web and link it back to ours, you know, because that's a big piece too. So, and what I'm driving towards is I'm driving towards the 25 to 35-year-olds, getting them to move out of Charlotte and into this community, or getting those that are Ashbrook, Hunter Huss, Forest View graduates to come back to this community, because this, you know, drain of youth and brain, you know, is hurting our community tremendously. So a lot of what we have to do, you know, I mean, you can market to that, but you also have to build it. As we know, we build it through the amenities that we provide, through the restaurants that, you know, come here, through the shopping experiences, through a strong, you know, healthy education system, things that we don't always have total control over. But I think that's where we have to go, is we really have to create opportunities for our youth to want to come back here. And that's jobs too. So, I mean, it's all encompassing, obviously, but that's where I would like to see us, you know, these couple things would be good focus.
That is one of the purposes of the redesign. We are doing sort of I hate to call it a redesign, an update. I asked Todd if he would kind of be here too, in case you had specific questions.
Because to help out on this particular front, and maybe Todd, you could come up here now. It is our major effort here. And Todd, who are we actually contracting with our website now? Here, why don't you just speak into their.
Sumner Group.
Okay.
Here on Main Street.
And so they're the people that we're interacting with, and they're the same group that the conference center. How many other agencies are they with?
Well, they are just recently the hospital and the museum.
Hospital and the museum. And so it's the Sumner Group, it's the local group, they're the marketing people. And as you can see, this is, and it's the least expensive option too. Yeah. And to your point about, you know, what do you put on that first page? Can you get everything? No, you can't always get everything there. Everybody wants to be able to get the click once or twice, but there's links that you can get. And Todd, can you talk a little bit about some of that conversation you guys are having about how to do that? Or unless Rachel can, but I think it's going to try to help
I'll be
Rachel a
glad
little.
to.
The 14,500, that's almost $15,000. Is that a year?
Where?
Or is that for the, is that just the price we're paying for the remarketing?
Yeah, that's one time.
That's one time, that's not a year.
That's one
Okay, that was the question I had when I saw it. I was like, if we're paying 15,000 a year, I don't care if they're local or not.
Todd, do you know how many hits we're having daily to our website? And do you know where they're going at all when?
That's part of what we're building into our new website. So we will be able to track those hits and exactly where they're coming from and where they're going. We don't have that capability right now.
So they'll provide Google Analytics
Exactly. Yeah. That is
on the back end of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So what we're trying to do, we're focusing on 4 or 5 major components of the website: easy navigation, citizen convenience and engagement, manageability from a department standpoint. Right now, that's not possible. We're reliant on somebody else to update a phone number if something like that needs to be done. And we want to reduce that. And part of that is considering the marketing plan that the city wants to implement. And pretty much when we finish with the design and we finish with the rewrite, whatever is decided that we need to do, from promoting through social media or updating a list or recreational services or whatever, we'll be able to do that as a staff. And we should be able to do it very timely. I heard you mention the recreation part and the sports signups and the facility signups. That's another major part of this that will become part of our own website. We won't have to have a standalone website for recreation.
Great. Sounds good.
Thank you, sir. Also, I would make an assumption that we're going to involve our travel and tourism in this as well for input, number one. And secondly, I think also, Your Honor, and also Todd, I think we would draw also heavily on your input in experience as realtors. You, I'm sure, look at a lot more websites with potential customers, and where they're thinking, frankly, to your point, Doctor, that you're thinking about maybe relocating to. What does this area offer for my family, for me, for a commute, for affordable housing? And I think that a lot of the input that you guys can provide is going to be good for that website to your overall strategy of keeping people here or getting them to move back.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay.
The Realtors Association would be glad to participate and provide any information or statistics, photos, whatever you need for housing. Certainly that's, in our interest to do that.
And that's the approach that I'm taking. I'm trying to prepare the web so we can be responsive to your needs and to management's needs, and whatever is decided that we want to do with the website, we're able to do, again, timely. So I hope that that's what we end up with, and I think we will. I think it's going to have a much more modern look and feel to it. We've kind of looked at a lot of other cities and how they approach their website design, and we've tried to take a best of breed approach to that. And
Todd, what would the time frame be? Like, where are we at this juncture? Have we developed page 1, page 2, different departments? Do you have something that we could possibly see, or?
Only in handouts right now. I actually have handouts with me. Let's see what's here. This is the first couple pages of the design. I'll pass these around.
Will Sumner have an ongoing involvement with the website after this initial rollout? I mean, will we need them for ongoing maintenance of the website or not?
Only from a security standpoint. From security updates that need to be performed to the actual code itself, we'll probably have to involve them. At least in the after the initial design is done, for the next probably year until maybe we get a better handle on what's actually taking place. But from a manageability and maintainability, maintenance, no, we will not need them to continue in that way.
Todd, this looks Todd and Todd. This looks very nice, first of all, and I like the spotlight. It looks like it's going to be much more user friendly. Just, I'm sure you guys have had or will have some discussions with Sumner Group, but just to kind of highlight that, we were talking about what Councilman Kimball said about it, and Councilman Curlin about getting people to move back. One idea you might want to think about is like your spotlight. Let's say it's something about housing in the Gastonia area. You could very easily turn that into a revenue source by, if it's housing, obviously the city is not into housing, so we're not going to spotlight a particular home that's for sale. But you could have a realtor that maybe would like to purchase that spot, and it could be a rotating. I know we do that on websites all over, from Zillow to Trulia to realtors will pay very good money to have their picture and phone number stuck right there. And then maybe the rest is just about, we have a historical neighborhood, we have a shopping. It doesn't have to specify one particular property, but you could sell these spotlight and it could be a new revenue stream, almost probably pay for the website.
That's a good idea.
The banks do that too.
Mm-hmm.
The banks will, can we not do that?
Well, I just haven't seen many local governments do that, and so we'll have to look into doing that. I mean, it's a question of opening the forum. If you open, the forum and rent it to somebody, you've got to take it from everybody who wants to pay for it, and then sometimes there's somebody that you don't want to rent it to. That's the problem. But we'll try to research that and see what our flexibility is on that.
We're new and innovative,
Cutting edge.
Any other questions?
and we like money.
We like money. That's
We like
the
money.
test.
Comments?
Point,
Yeah.
this is under, the purchase order was actually established this week. So work will begin on the website very soon, and we're probably looking at 3 to 4 months to have it transition into a live environment.
Okay. Questions?
Thanks for your hard work.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
If I could just kind of add a couple of things about
Go right ahead.
one of the things that we looked at, and Todd and IT's credit, is that they did want to add a marketing element to the website. And you see that with the ways that we can focus on 3 or 4 things, we can't do that on our current website, but now we can with this new design. We'll be able to highlight events, we'll be able to highlight programs. So some of the things that you're saying about recreation, we'll be able to do a whole lot more easily with this design. You'll also see that we now have up at the top an I want to box, which will make, again, Todd mentioned the navigation. It will break down into a number of different categories, which gives our citizens an opportunity to find things more quickly. There'll also be a special site for visitors. There'll be a special tab for residents. There'll also be a special tab for businesses. So just the design will help improve the marketing that we do on the website.
Will that, on the front page I see here, is this one of the proposed options for a homepage?
Right now, that is the option.
Okay, so, in terms of the picture here, will this be stilled, or will this be a running slideshow?
It's a running slideshow.
Okay, great,
Yes.
great, yeah.
If you'll look over here, it's got the description of what the picture is and tab arrows where you can advance.
You can do it yourself,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Great.
And I just wanted to add that this look, and with the information like new manufacturer brings jobs, City of Gastonia Police Department joins Bike Safe, Gastonia Grizzlies win. This is information that I would go to the website just to read to find out what's going on in the city. This website would bring me there for more than just I need to do something with the city. I'd go to get information and find out things. This is appealing to me, something that I would check weekly probably.
Yeah, it doesn't have just all the murder trials and,
Yeah, I mean, it's not just
the other
business,
criminal
business,
acts that the Gazette tends to publish.
As it is now, the only time I visit the city's website is when I need to find a phone number, and then
Right.
I usually end up giving up and calling Jenny because it's too hard to find it anyway. But this is something that I would go to get information. Certainly, a lot more appealing.
There'll
So-
be if you notice up in the top right-hand corner, there'll be a Facebook and
Twitter.
Twitter aspect to this too. And the way that's going to work initially is that if you choose to follow the City of Gastonia on Facebook, if an update occurs to this website, then you will get an update on your Facebook page that something's changed, and you can choose to check it out.
Yes, sir.
Just a follow-up to you and Councilman Pearsall, sir. I look at this, and maybe this, I don't know whether this is a sound or not, but to look at this, I think as a goal to be both informational and just, again, throwing it into the realtor's domain, also a resource. And kind of how I'm thinking is, get a client comes in, I'm looking, me and my family are looking for this, this, and this. And to use this as a resource, a running resource of what Gastonia has to offer. You kind of getting me? You know, and I think that's what we need to look at in addition to information. I think sometimes if it gets too informational, it's like maybe too dry, or like, you know, it's not, it doesn't have any heart or feeling, and I would be cautious about losing that.
Mayor,
Okay. Question? Yes, sir.
right now, how do departments, I know, you know, the police department has a newsletter. Haven't seen one recently, but the police department has a newspaper. The Blue Light, right. The fire department, do they have a publication? Okay. I'm just wondering how, you know, this is, again, more work, but whatever. But it would be kind of neat somehow to do employee profiles, ways, I don't know if you know, you take it to a login, you know, where an employee login, and they go to another, you know, back room of the website, and then departments have an opportunity to communicate within department. Like you can put, you know, stuff about new employees on there, new employee profiles, you know, all kinds of things that would be, yeah, I mean, all the kinds of things that you do intra-departmentally or interdepartmentally. I don't know if this is the place for that or not, but, you know, or if some of that you bring onto the public side because you're putting faces on the government. And, you know, you're profiling an employee periodically. You know, good things are happening here. These are great people. Meet this person. You know, I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but, you know, it's just maybe an opportunity. I don't know.
We have an intra-website at work where
Right, we do
it's
too.
not out in the public, you know, because, you know, these guys put their lives on the line, and I'd hate for someone to have a demise or some crazy
Oh, no,
thing.
you don't,
Yeah,
you
this-
you
I
only,
just-
you only
I
put
think-
public what you want to
Yeah,
be
but if
public.
they had a, you know, an intra-site such as like someone
Yeah,
had a baby,
that-
or there was a graduation, or something along those lines, I'd feel more akin for people within the employees themselves would be able to have access to that, and that would not be public information, that's all.
The city has an intranet as well. So, and for instance, there was a recent situation where there was a kind of a tragic death, and there was a little memorial within, and that was actually on our intranet. And so there's information that's there on that platform that is purely in-house. And there's always these decisions made as to what stays there and what goes there.
Sure. Getting you, Dave, I think, like, you know, for example, meet blank, he's in charge of, and his duties are, and he's been with the city X number of years, and
Yeah.
something like that, I think is where you're going. Not maybe
Yeah.
not so much personal, but more
No,
business.
no. Just, again, you know, putting a face on the city sometimes in terms of profiling employees that would be willing to be profiled, you know, that you tell something about somebody, or, you know, just kind of makes it a little bit more personal. Just a thought.
I just want to say that I think that's a good idea, and first thing that popped in my mind when you were saying is like when one of the police officers or one of the firemen get promoted.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you know, especially with the fire and police departments, they're dealing with the public. You know, somebody makes captain, somebody makes sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Promote them on there and say, you know, meet the newest sergeant, and
Mhm.
it's a good way for the public to see that, and then when they see him out, they can congratulate him too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or her. Excuse me, we do have some females. Did not mean to leave them out.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Rachel, get better. Thank you both.
Rachel, the pamphlet for downtown looks very nice too. I know we didn't talk about that at the retreat, but it looks very nice.
Thank you both very much. Item 9, I'll start the city attorney's report by saying to Ash that I'm sure I speak for the council and the staff, and condolences for the loss of your mother-in-law. she's a beautiful woman, like her daughter and her brother. But, and so I haven't met her, but I mean, just seeing her picture. But certainly our thoughts and prayers have been with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And of course, I had no official report except to say thank you to all of you for the expressions of sympathy that you've tendered to me and my wife. And it's great to have an employer that will just let you drop everything and go when you need to, and a team that can back you up and take care of things while you're gone. So I appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Munn?
I just have a few things. Here's a handout, and this deals with Duke Energy's progress in discussions to purchase the North Carolina Eastern Power Agency's generation assets. I believe Mr. Gallagher was at board meeting, and some of it he can speak to, and some of it's closed session, and Mr. Jakubczak's been involved with some information, but this all deals with the Eastern Power Agency. But Duke is in the process of making an offer to Duke, to Eastern Power Agency. So, you know, does that come to us sometime? Well, maybe. And if it does, what does it mean? So it's something for us to keep our eye on. You're talking about billions of dollars and a decision that we need to make for the long term, should this conversation ever spill to the west. So that's one thing. I wanted to mention that tomorrow, the city and county managers meeting, their annual meeting in Durham takes place, so I'll be leaving tomorrow and coming back on Friday. And so I'll try to steal as many good ideas from that as I can. And I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Okay. Council report, Ms. Craig?
No report, sir.
Mr. McAteer? Okay.
Police department newsletter, I don't think I've ever seen one of those. Did we get those?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen
I haven't seen one.
Is that still published, Chief? You still publish the Blue Law?
Is your mic on?
Turn that on right there.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Yes, we still publish it. There'll be another one coming out in the spring. And I thought everyone did receive copies of it.
I was getting it, I know, I always read
Would
it.
you,
Guess we could just put it in their box or something upstairs. Okay.
do you have it in email version as well as what?
I will talk to Donna. I've only gotten it in the hard copy, but I'm sure we have it electronically.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing is, these screens here at that Elmo, when they put a picture up there, we're having to turn and look up there because it's bigger print. Somehow or another, that Elmo needs to be HD, and these need to be HD sometime if you ever change it. Needs to be a whole lot clearer.
You know, if you notice, a lot of the materials are actually what's in our
Well, of course,
agenda.
I
And
know that, but-
what's in our agenda is clear. This is too fuzzy. You can't hardly
Too
read.
fuzzy.
I don't ever pay attention.
I never do either.
People in the audience probably can't see it very good either. That's better.
That's
'cause it's
better,
bigger.
but it's not as clear as what we have here.
Yeah, right. Okay, next thing I want to mention, that this may be a sore point for some people. You know, the Chamber of Commerce is having their get-together. It's $100 a person. I personally don't think the city ought to pay council or anybody's way. I think I don't think that's a direct part of city business, and I think if we want to go, we ought to have to pay it ourselves. If it's not worth $100 to you, you probably shouldn't go. That's just my opinion. Any other opinions? I just don't think the city taxpayers ought to be paying for us to go to a chamber
I
event.
paid my way last year.
When was the last time anyone had the city
Well,
pay
I
that
don't know.
ticket?
I just said that there was
Oh.
a note in here to let Regina know if we want to go. And I asked her one day upstairs if the city paid that, and she said, yeah. Yes.
Over the years, the city has paid for those things. And sometimes if, you know, that for members of council or the mayor that would want to go, like any other conference or meeting. And so that has happened before. I remember one time when last minute, they told me I had to go, but I didn't have a tuxedo. And so I had to show up in a suit, and so.
I do, and I've gone for many a council person last minute.
Well,
Yeah, last minute that all of a sudden, can you make it there?
in years past, I remember
Yeah.
from being at the chamber, okay, that, the city and the county both would buy a
Buy a table, a whole table.
And then that way, it was a support for the chamber as an economic development entity. But I don't think the city's paid for a table in years. I could be wrong, but I don't think they have.
I just don't think the taxpayers appreciate that because, I don't think there's any direct good that comes for the city by going to that thing. And go, it may be a lot of fun for some people. If I go, I'm gonna pay my $100 out of my pocket.
We'll see you there.
Huh?
We'll see you there.
Do what?
I said, we will see you there.
No, I'm probably not gonna go. I mean, it's not the money, I just really wouldn't have much interest in going.
We'll see you
myself
there,
last
Dr.
year.
Curlin.
Pardon me?
We will see you there, Dr. Curlin.
Yeah, my wife too.
Me as well.
That it?
Yeah, I just hope that nobody takes the city's money to go to it.
No report.
Mr. Gallagher?
Just several things, Mr. Mayor. First off, Electricities, Easter Power Agency is gonna be selling out. They own not as much nuclear as we do. Nuclear, they're not building many nuclear reactors. So ours is due to be paid off around 2020, and it can be very beneficial for us. The nuclear reactor we have can go out to 2043, and they believe that it could be relicensed and go on even further. So the investment may pay off, but we'll see. The only problem with the announcement here is that 32 cities have to vote on this. So it's not a sure thing whatsoever. So it's 32 city councils all have to ratify. It has to be unanimous. And if it's not unanimous,
Wow.
it doesn't happen. So, just want to let that out there. The other thing is, I was invited to the ABC board by Councilman Kimball, and just want to say Walter was excellent. If you haven't been to one of their meetings, they focus on the numbers, they focus on marketing, they focus on safety, and I'm thankful for Walter to be put on that board because he's able to, interject so much in terms of that. And also, he's spoken on behalf of the ABC police officer that we have. From what I understand, most ABC boards have their own officer, and Walter's, they said that they had delineated it and put it underneath the chief's auspices, so that,
Better way.
it's not the people coming after the ABC. What are you bothering me for? It's actually, he's an officer, and he's a sworn officer, and he takes his orders from the chief. So, that might be somebody to profile on the website. I'm sure people would like to find out some information from him. The other thing is, met with a gentleman who's the president on Arts on Main. His name is Travis Johnson, and he wants to come to our meeting next week, next time, and he wants to speak to us about Arts on Main and what all he's doing there. He's a sharp gentleman. He's a teacher of art over at Warlick, and sharp gentleman, very sharp. He too is concerned about numbers, and I like that. Last night was with Councilman Kimball. We met the superintendent, the new superintendent of the schools, and we also did a breakout session where they wanted input from the community, and that was very worthwhile. And if anybody has an opportunity to go and it comes into their ward, by all means do it. And that is it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Dr. Curlin?
I just wanted to thank the fire department for the invitation to the first annual Firefighters Ball, which was last Saturday night. And it was seemed to be well attended, and I stayed only long enough to know that everyone was well behaved before I left. But I think it was a great affair, and I understand there may be a possibility that the city police department may follow up with their own event sometime. which would be wonderful. I think it's a great opportunity for folks to get together and socialize in a nice, atmosphere, and, get the spouses out. And it was great, and thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Curlin and I, and his lovely spouse, attended the 55th Annual YMCA meeting. And congratulations to Spurgeon Mackey, who won it was actually a well-deserved recognition of the J.D. Hicks Award, the Lifetime Achievement Award. He was able to get that. I, too, enjoyed being at the Fire Department Ball. Chief, great job amongst your planning committee. I think you wouldn't have known it was the first one. Everything went really smooth as glass. I would like to see, though, I hope that in the future we can make a proactive attempt on the, frankly, the conference center's part to try and have some of our city events at the conference center. I don't know exactly what the numbers were, but I think that we really need to redouble our efforts. And I heard that, as you did, Dr. Curlin, that was a undercurrent through really much of the attendees. Like, why are we having it here? Not that it wasn't a good venue. Not saying that at all. Lastly, congratulations to Lieutenant Darren Ledford, who's retiring after 30 years with Gaston Gems and emergency medical people. What a career and what a vision that man had. It's really impacted untold amounts of people, getting them to the hospital when they needed to get there in an expedient manner. Lastly, both for the chief and the fire chief, I understand that the Georgia governor is going to be convening a task force on what happened during that snowstorm and how it we don't want to repeat it. And I hope that, gentlemen, we can get a copy of that and take a look at it, because we saw some things down there that, on some of the coverage, that looked like government went awry, and I think that we can, in a positive note, we can learn from their mistakes and not duplicating them and be more proactive. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, there's one, it's disappeared, but, talked to police chief about that. He can tell me what it is. Something that's in their 30-year history they're having at the conference center. It's law enforcement connected. And what was that?
Yeah, I know soon.
Chief, you know what I'm talking about? Do you know Carol McManus? Well, that's who it was from. And she said, they just disappeared, but she said that this is undoubtedly a statewide meeting in a couple of months, and it was the first that has ever been in Gastonia. So,
Good.
Regina's got it. It goes away here, but she's got it.
Yeah, it's a weekend.
It's a Wednesday through Sunday.
Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's those are the kind of events
Yeah.
that you really want, because they come in, and the weekend is the soft time for the hotels. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be here, and I don't know how many, but I'm getting ready to tell you. Then I'm through. Yeah. It is a fall off. I'm sorry. But it's good to know. I don't know how many people, but it says it's like 60 years that they've had one here. So when you said that, well, I hate to just leave it hanging, but well, anyway, I'll get it to you. They just want a hello. Okay. Got it. Chief, North State Law Enforcement Association Conference.
When?
Oh, June the 11th, through the weekend.
Mark that down.
I just, yeah. Oh, boy.
She's like, that's in June. We got plenty of time.
North State Law Enforcement Association at the Gastonia.
Worry about what's going on out there right now.
Right. All right, anything else for the good? Thank you very much. Thank everyone for coming, and have a safe journey home. And, our sixth one, I think, just left, so we can let her go. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn? Thank you.
Another pay raise.
Second.
Yeah, they have something, it's
Well, we're close.
3 minutes shy.
does,
I was on the North Carolina, I started
This
in
guy's really
this